Startup Starts. Daniel Mumby, that Startup Guy. Another episode of The Starting Block. Well, as you can see, we're in my garage. Now, I don't know if you know, but there have been hundreds, perhaps thousands, of really great businesses that were started in garages. Apple, HP are two that come to mind, but actually if I went for a list, it'd probably come up with 100, but let's not go there.
You've got an idea, a good one, maybe even a great one. You could push forward on your own. After all, you know your stuff, but startups are not easy. Having some guiding lights would help, right?
Why are we in my garage? Well, I talk about space or place as being one of the elements. I don't know if it's important, but certainly an element of any venture. And something that's not often talked about that's related to place or space is culture of an organisation. So if you're growing a business, or if you're starting a business and you ignore culture, you do so at your peril. Now, why does that matter? Because if you think about place and space relates to culture, so if you find the right place and space to operate from your business, that's going to add to or improve your culture or detract from it. And I think that's a really often misunderstood and certainly overlooked concept. If you're building a business and you get to a modicum or a level of success, and then at the end of 3 years after being head down, bum up in the product and building the team and crushing it, geez, I freaking hate that. What does that actually even mean? Don't use that phrase. So you're out there, you're building a business, you're growing. At the end of 3 years, you lift your head up and you look around at the team and you go, I don't like these people, or they don't represent my values, or they don't represent the values of the company, or they're behaving in a way that is not what I had imagined, or perhaps even unethically. And I can think of 20 or 30 instances of people who built companies personally that have realised that after a period of time. So one of the big things that I talk about a lot in building that great venture that the journey you're on is thinking about the culture from the very beginning. In fact, for a lot of things, you'll hear me say this often a lot, think about the end game and then reverse engineer back. So if I was building a company in Australia, and I'm building a couple, I would want them to be the best places to work in Australia. Because if I'm going to work there, which I am, even if I'm going to run the company, I'm going to work there, then I want everyone else to be aspirational and to feel inspired and to love coming to work every day rather than coming to work as part of the grind. Now, why does that matter? Think about it for a second. If you end up with a culture that you don't like, how hard will it be to change it? Pretty damn near impossible. But if you think about the type of workplace or space that you actually want to have, and then design it back to the very beginning steps so that you actually incorporate your values, your beliefs, your goals, your objectives into the culture of the organisation, and then include that in the hiring policy, and then amplify that through the types of places and spaces, and therefore the types of conversations that you can have within your organisation as it grows, then you're on the right track. And so many people think about product, but they actually don't think about audience or market or culture or spaces or what have you. So that's really, I suppose, what I wanted to talk to you about today. We're in a garage. This garage is a part of the journey for me in terms of one of the next ventures that I'm working on. I still can't tell you what it is. You're just going to have to wait on that patiently. But let's just say that this garage, this workshop, is an enabler for that business, which is an enabler for another business, which is an enabler for 3 or 4 more businesses, all of which are part of a grand plan. And I do have a grand plan. And so should you. So think about your grand plan in terms of your people, in terms of the places and spaces. I don't mind if you use a co-working space, but do your homework first, because there are a lot of co-working spaces that will actually hurt you rather than help you. Some of them are very noisy, very loud, very unproductive, or that you're sitting next to competitors. That could be a challenge for accelerators, is that, if you're in a blockchain accelerator and everyone's doing blockchain, or, you might have some secret IP or some secret source that you don't necessarily want to be in an open plan office talking about your customer opportunities or your technology or your IP or your method or your what have you to potentially somebody who's sitting next to you who could be a competitor. I think that's a bad idea. Equally, I'm not sure necessarily that being a lone wolf, which I did for about 7 or 8 years when I was a consultant and I worked from home, and I can tell you that's really soul destroying. So I don't necessarily recommend that. One of the things I do like, however, is, let me ask a question. Have you got some friends that are in business? Sure you do. I mean, birds of a feather. If you're a business person, then likely the people that you're gravitating towards or developing into your tribe are people like you. Do any of them have offices? And if the answer to that is yes, does any of them have space in those offices? Is there something that you can contra or trade in order to access some of their space, and therefore be in an environment of other people who are like you? That's actually the really important thing, is surrounding yourself with people who are like you. So if you can find a way, maybe you can, maybe such a good friend that you can ask them a favour and they can give you some space for a couple of 3, 6 months, which is great. But if not, then perhaps, maybe you can trade them something. Maybe the thing that you're doing is the thing that you can help them out with. And so they can provide you a little bit of their free space, and for you to then be an environment, and a culture that's beneficial for your vision as well and where you're going. So as I said, don't just go, co-working space or serviced office or 20 other options or whatever, or work from home. Think about how the places and spaces, or the alternatives to the places and spaces that you could have, are going to either impact, they're all going to impact, so whether it's positively or negatively, the outcome that you're trying to achieve. I have a very bi-directional focus when it comes to some things. And my philosophy on this is that something, doesn't matter what, people, team, culture, capital, resources, customers, the whole lot, something is either going to take you closer to or further away from where you're trying to get to. And if it's not taking you closer to where you're trying to get to, then by very nature, even if you're not going anywhere, it's actually taking you further away. So whenever you're making a decision about what it is that you're trying to do, especially around culture and places and spaces, think about, is this place going to take me closer to success or further away from it? And if the answer is not the first one, then don't do it. In fact, doing anything else has got an equal or better chance of actually getting you closer to success than the thing that's going to take you further away. Anyway, I'm Daniel Mumby, that startup guy. Today is just another conversation in terms of what it is that's going to take to help you get closer to success. I hope I've provided a little bit of insights. Follow the link at the end to subscribe at the starting block, because there'll be a lot more insight and some perspective, pile of articles and some deeper thoughts and perspective on this, not just from me but from others. And if you like this, then obviously comment, hit the like button, subscribe and share it if you can, and add your own perspective to the conversation. Anyway, I'm Daniel Mumby, that startup guy. For now, hooroo.
There are so many ways that you can go, and this is the starting block.